We are looking ahead to former President Donald Trump's appearance in federal court, which is set for tomorrow. He was indicted last week over his alleged mishandling of classified documents after he left office. And over the weekend, Trump insisted again that he's innocent. Naomi Ruchim has the latest on what happens next. Naomi, good morning.
Anne-Marie, good morning. Despite the charges, former President Donald Trump has been out campaigning for another term, calling the case against him political persecution. His supporters are using the charges as a rallying cry, while at least one past ally believes the case could be damaging for the former president. Today, former President Donald Trump will travel to Florida ahead of his Tuesday arraignment at a Miami federal court.
The documents, whole thing is a witch hunt. It's a disgrace.
Over the weekend, Trump continued to defend himself while campaigning in Georgia and North Carolina after the Department of Justice unsealed the 37-count indictment against him. The charges, which are connected to his keeping of sensitive materials at his Mar-a-Lago home, include willful retention of national defense information and conspiracy to obstruct justice.
We did absolutely nothing wrong.
The indictment has divided prominent Republicans.
This idea of presenting Trump as a victim here, a victim of a witch hunt, is ridiculous.
Most Republicans believe that the law is used as a weapon against Donald Trump.
In fact, a new CBS News poll shows 76% of likely GOP voters said their biggest concern was that the indictment was politically motivated.
Something is out of whack. He's not the only one president that has documents.
Top Senate Democrat Chuck Schumer says the legal process must go forward without interference.
We encourage Mr. Trump's supporters and his critics to let this case proceed peacefully.
Trump says he plans to speak from his Bedminster, New Jersey golf club Tuesday evening after his arraignment. Law enforcement in Miami is bracing for protests outside the courthouse where Trump will be arraigned tomorrow. Meantime, fellow candidates are walking a very fine line with their responses to the indictment. They know they'll need Trump's faithful voting base to have any shot at the Republican nomination. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who is polling in second place behind Trump right now, did defend the former president, but also noted that he would have received punishment if he had taken home classified documents as a naval officer. Anne-Marie?
Naomi, thank you. Well, DeSantis isn't the only Republican 2024 presidential hopeful speaking about the indictment of former President Trump on federal charges. Here's some of what VP Mike Pence and former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson had to say over the weekend.
I'm deeply troubled to see this indictment move forward. Its capacity to further divide our country at a time when the American people are struggling as never before.
It's important that we take it seriously. We don't diminish it. Whenever you're looking at protecting the secrets of the United States, that's not only an issue in the criminal case, obviously, but it's really an issue in the campaign.
So we are following new CBS News polling that is taking a look at how GOP voters view the indictment of former President Trump and what they're looking for in a candidate. So Anthony Salvanto is joining us now to break down the latest numbers. It's always great to have you here, Anthony. I love a snapshot of the people by the numbers. So the timing of this could be wild because we know that GOP primaries and will wrap up by February. They're thinking that this case could go to trial in March. It's conceivable that Donald Trump could be the candidate, the GOP candidate, and then have to go to trial while he's campaigning. You heard from Naomi saying that, listen, right now there's a lot of support among GOP voters. But what about if he's convicted? What are they saying?
Well, if we unpack this, I wanted to look at why people felt the way they did. And so right off the bat, you say, okay, for those GOP primary voters, 6 in 10 say it won't change their opinion of him. And we see that borne out in what you call the horse race, right? The standings, who you vote for, he's still comfortably on top. But when you look at the difference between Republican primary voters and the rest of the nation, you see this big difference on, okay, let's suppose the allegations are that the documents had nuclear or military plans in them. If that's the case, would you consider this a national security risk? So this is sort of underpinning some of that opinion. And you see this big difference, 38%, okay, of GOP primary voters, but 80% of folks would consider it a national security risk in the rest of the country. And that, I think, is important because we want to understand the difference in how those primary voters are thinking about this, because it then connects to one of the reasons, among many, that they're still so supportive of the former president.
Yeah. So, you know, he's leading, as you point out. What about the other candidates? Where do they fall right now?
Well, let's have a look at the overall chart here, because it's important to think of two things. The first is the one I mentioned, which is straight up vote. Okay, of the candidates you're considering, who would you pick? And as you noted, Donald Trump far and away is the top choice right now. But the other thing to answer your question, Anne-Marie, is you want to look at who they're considering. And you can consider more than one candidate at this point. I think this is important because as we follow the polls here, hold on a second, we're months away from any vote. People are sort of looking. Well, look, the former president dominates in this respect as well. His consideration number at 75%. You might call that even a ceiling. You know, it's potential voters in there. Now, Ron DeSantis is at half of the GOP primary vote. That is substantial, but again, nowhere near right now the former president. And then you see the rest of the candidates breaking out in terms of that consideration. So to answer your question, yeah, it's very much the former president. And the other thing I would add, because this will be important going forward, is when you ask people what they want in a candidate, well, take a look at how economic things still rise to the top. They have to have a plan to lower inflation. They have to have a plan to lower taxes. And less so on some of these issues that some might label, you know, culture war or societal issues. What I think is important here, Anne-Marie, is that when you look at the former president, folks would like to hear him talk about the present and his plans more so than talking about 2020, talking about the indictments against him. And I think that's important, whether or not that matches what the electorate wants. Having said that, he's still in the lead.
He's still in the lead. That just about sums it up. Anthony, thank you very much.
You're welcome.